Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Analyst Table. My name is Rene and we have the PPL Fall LAN happening right now and a bunch of pros in the studio. So I figured why not take an in-depth look at how these pros draft and what are some of the things that go on when they make the decisions to go triple tank or single tank and why they do so. Does it affect the comms? Well, we'll find out in a second as we talk to some of the best pros from both NIP and SK Gaming to see exactly how the pros draft in Paladins. Easy question. How important is drafting in Paladins?
Drafting can break you. I think I've experienced firsthand multiple times. A bad draft just makes you fall to pieces. So it comes with the savant that you need to know what you're capable of doing, what you should be doing, and what you could be doing, and what you shouldn't do. Because all of those play into making something work for your team.
I mean, I think drafting is 80% of the game, just straight up. Maybe 90.
Wow.
Maybe 90. It's the most important thing when it comes to the game, period.
Do you guys ever find those moments where a draft goes so well and then you feel like you've already kind of just won the game?
Oh, yeah. That's the best feeling ever, too. Just as soon as that game starts, just looking at their drafts, like, yep, we already won. You can just see how the game's going to go, how all the fights are going to break down, and just take it home. Absolutely.
You do get that feeling that you outdrafted the enemy team. But it also has shown that a lot of off-meta stuff kind of works quite often, so it's not always, you're never secured. When you go into a draft and you see the enemy draft, you might have the feeling that you already won the game from there, but you're still gonna think that there might be something into that draft they're doing.
Having the draft and having a good draft is just a bonus, and we like to keep that mindset, even though it does, we all know deep down inside that it is a very crucial part, but we want to assume that we should be able to win with any draft, so that we never have that mental block going into the game. That one time we do get slightly outdrafted, you don't want to be sitting there thinking the whole game, we got outdrafted.
Now, in the reverse situation, have you ever been on that side where the draft looks like, how are we going to win this?
Yep.
And then what do you do when that happens? What are comms like? What's your style like?
That hasn't happened for us in a while, obviously. Like, we haven't lost a map in a while. But I remember those games, and we put a stop to that immediately by doing some insane drafting outside of the game. Like, I'm talking crazy. Like, if you look at my Google Docs, you're gonna call me a crazy person. Like, every single situation that could happen, I've already drafted it.
Wow.
Every single one. I'm talking hundreds of drafts saved, loaded, organized, everything. Anything that anyone could throw at us, I've already drafted it.
And it includes variations where you're on.
Every variation.
Where you're on anything.
Every variation.
I mean, there's definitely a lot of drafting simulation. I mean, we have spreadsheets of match history and drafting simulators and all potential scenarios. I mean, even in like the map drafting, you know, we play out every scenario. If they ban this, we ban this. If they pick this, then we pick this. We study and we try our best to prepare as much as we can, you know, with some limitations as to how many like teams have actually played games yet. We don't always know all the information.
So it's making tiers in your head on what performs and what doesn't. And a way that I look at it is you've got your long range hitters, and then you've got your fast tanks. You got your slow tanks, fast tanks, you've got slow deeps, fast deeps. And then you kind of pick your flavor healer. It could be Genos, it could be Ceres if she's meta for once, but normally it's this balance. Speed, slowness, and you'll want one fast tank to go with a fast DPS. You want your slow tank to either be on the point or help out your slow DPS. And that's kind of what I think lineups work best. You've got fast in-your-face guys, and then you've got dedicated range guys. And those two playing together is, I think, what makes for a really rounded draft.
Do you feel pressure in the draft? Do you sometimes feel like you're given something and it's like, this isn't comfortable, so I feel pressure?
Yeah, it's kind of like, it changes depending on who is what. It changes depending on the person. So for example, Bird will think that this is not a problem for us, just Makoa.
Right.
But when I play like a carry or something, I'm like, this is actually a problem, because when I play even, I get that hook.
Yeah.
I can just blow up.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like it's very mixed feelings that's coming into it. So when we see something and we say it,
right,
people would disagree. So that's kind of hard to get an agreement there for the whole team together.
You know, like, I'm not going to go against Fnatic and say, hey, we got to ban Makoa. Like, I know Theo's a good Makoa, and I know that it might be very annoying, more so than maybe Na'Vi playing the Makoa or VP playing the Makoa. But generally speaking, it's more of a, we shouldn't ever look to ban specific champions because we're afraid of something. That should never be the case. It should be, we can try to maybe make it easier for us because we know that they want to prioritize certain things. Maybe Fnatic want to prioritize that Makoa because they think, oh, we got Theo, we have the best Makoa. So maybe we can kind of bait them a little bit. Say, here, take your Makoa and see what happens. So that's one thing you can do. But I don't like to think of the mentality of, let's ban out Fish Echo's Bomb King because it's too scary.
Right.
Like, that's not something that I ever want to do, really.
So let's talk about the variations that, despite you guys having such a great moment of success, there were moments, and I feel like this is almost going back to the past because you guys feel like you figured it out.
Yeah.
But in the past, there were moments where you would be on, for instance, a Barrack, and Danny would be on a Grover. Right. Something where, you feel like, man, they don't really have that guy who could turn the tide against the other superstar
for sure.
On the enemy team. What's that like? Walk me through that moment, and, because it feels like maybe there's a sacrifice being made on your end, maybe a willing sacrifice, but what's that whole process like when you get off of those champions we're used to seeing you on?
Honestly, it comes down to, like, we're trying to just expand ourselves as a team and just try to make it work. We're really weak when it comes to triple tanks because we don't really mess with it. So it's just a weakness that we want to clean up because other teams run it. Other teams can run it fine. We don't because we don't practice it. So it's like, let's try it out. Let's do it. Let's make this part of our arsenal, that we can pull out when we need it. Because it is a valuable tool to have, obviously. But at the same time, your boy in France.
That's what I'm trying to say. Everybody's acting like I'm crazy out here. You guys have a lot of success, but I want to be real. Where can you improve? And maybe this is something that other people watching this can find out. You guys are at the top of the game, but where do you find you could still improve in your drafting process?
I personally think that players in general should learn every single hero that they can. I've got 8 titles now. That's 8 level 20s. That's
insane.
Almost 3,800 hours just playing everything and going through that list, because there's this thing that you get when you know how every single hero plays, you know all of their strengths, hopefully. Now, when somebody else plays that hero, they can find something new. They bring a new approach to it. I'm methodical, I'm meticulous. Danny's fast and furious. Let's say that me and him both are working on Xin. I've been pushing that Zin's really good. Danny starts practicing it. What he ended up developing is a nimble build, whereas I've always gone into Chronos. And literally just the other day, we were explaining it to each other, and they both have their strong merits. So by having everybody familiar with every position and then putting in their feedback on how they think it should be played, you can increase your performance on your heroes. Or you can even just flex out everything and just try all sorts of cool stuff. And that's personally my dream, is just playing every position, letting everybody have fun.
A lot of success can also come from just doing something different that they do. I mean, we saw it last LAN, we saw the Chinese teams, and people were laughing at them. We saw the American teams picking the Inara, and the Europeans were like, they got the Inara, because we played against each other, we think it's useless, and then we're like, the moment we get the Dinara, we're like, it's a free win right there, and then you lose, and it's kind of awkward, right? And the same with Chinese teams, they pull out the Grok and Ying, and kind of shows that doing something that people are not used to kind of works a lot. I mean, it wins games. And they also won it by stealing the Chinese picks, and they never really played it.
No doubt about it, man. Awesome stuff. I love that last line, dude. Thank you very much. And I be lazy. Well, hopefully that's shown you a whole new light as to why the pros do what they do, from their drafts to the style of compositions that they like to play for each player and how they set up their stars to perform on a daily basis. When you're watching the PPL LAN, hopefully this information makes it a little bit more interesting, so make sure to stay tuned with us on Thursday and Friday here at facebook.com/Paladins game to check that out. As always, my friends, remember to never give up, never stop gaming, and we'll see you all in the realm.